Hello, hello. How's it going? Hello to everybody that's already hopping on here. It's really good. It's really exciting when I get on and a bunch of people are like, I feel like you guys are like waiting. That makes me feel really good. So yeah, that's cool. Also trying to keep it at a fairly regular time so that you guys, even if you don't see like my announcements on like Twitter, Instagram that I'm going to be streaming, like you know when I'm probably going to be on. Trying to stay consistent. Yeah, so I'm running a little bit late. I know. I mean, I don't really have like a set time, but normally I'm gonna try to be on by 9, just so I'm not on too late. Cause I know some people probably don't want to stay up till 11 or whatever, which is when I'm normally streaming till. Yeah, it's just a little behind schedule tonight. I was watching MasterChef. Just kind of hanging out. It's honestly just really me. I had a couple other things to do, but sorry. But I'm here now, and I'm drawing in some of my comic books that people have purchased. These are gonna be going to people that have purchased the book off of Gumroad, and just like a little thank you, because I know like a lot of people like may not like $5 and up may seem like a lot to charge for like a comic book this size. It's about 8 pages plus a bunch of extras. But I try to make it feel like it's worth it by doing some just little like quick original sketches in here. And yeah, like I said, it's $5. And on my Gumroad, it's like a pay what you want, but it starts at $5, so it's at least $5. But you can pay more if you like. I do have to charge a little bit extra for the international shipping, but so I think international shipping is an extra like $2 or something like that. But it's honestly because like I want you guys to like feel good about purchasing it and feel good about supporting independent artists, because it's not just me that worked on this, as well as get your money's worth. And yeah, I saw a couple questions already. The pen I'm using is actually one that I just picked up, and by picked up I mean I stole it from my wife. She was using it to like do some invitations, and it's like a lettering pen. It's got one like 0.5mm side and one like larger side, and I asked her if I could have it when she was done with it. So just experimenting with that, because I can't use the paper in this book. I can't really use a fountain pen for it, so I'm using something else and trying new stuff too, and I actually kind of like it. I saw somebody that asked about Marvel and DC, and while I'm not like huge into comic books, I have read and read very few Marvel or DC books. I'm just not really into like superheroes, I guess. Never really have been. I like stuff that's like more like Hellboy and stuff like that, like 30 Days of Night. I like more like horror stuff and like darker stuff. Never really got into the superheroes. Yeah, I mean Hellboy is amazing. You gotta love Hellboy, especially like in a sea of superhero stuff that's all really samey. And I guess that's like probably one of my biggest problems with it, is it's all like really similar to me, like different dudes in different costumes with different powers, and it's just like never really got me. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'll try as hard as I can to comprehend that. I really do appreciate all the compliments, guys. It really does make my day. So a lot of questions coming up, and I'm not obviously going to be able to get to all of these, and especially not be able to get all of them right away. The favorite pen answer is kind of a quick one because I don't have one. I'm always trying to try new things and not have a favorite pen. Not have. I have fallback pens that I go back to, carbon desk pens, a lot of fountain pens mostly. But I try to keep my tastes changing. So, like, I'm always looking for my next favorite pen. And a lot of this stuff, like, I'm going to start referencing, like, my old recordings. I'm thinking of doing that, or, like, having, because I just started a YouTube channel today, actually, like I talked about, to host my my periscope recordings, because I know they don't stick around. I think they only stick around for 24 hours here. So, there were a couple of them that I missed because I was having issues with my iPad, because I have to save them straight to my iPad, and they're pretty big video files, so a couple of them I wasn't able to save because I didn't have space, but I had to exit out of the app to make space, and so I lost a couple of them, but those are all up on my YouTube, and my channel is just Merrick Jaraki. Just like my name. And you might have to look for, like, Merrick Jaraki Drawing or something, so there's a couple of other Merrick Jarakis on there, but yeah. I think Merrick Jaraki is a channel name. I'm pretty sure. If not, and I haven't said it yet, then I may have to do that. Because I just, like, really quick set it up today. So there may be, like, still some things that I need to work out. As far as developing your own style, that's something I've been asked before, and I actually, like, get asked quite often. The Periscope recording is going to be on YouTube for free. I don't plan on charging for those. I actually am probably not ever going to charge for videos, simply because, like, I'm working on stuff while I do them, and, like, most of it is stuff that I'm making money off of. So I like to keep that stuff free, or at least at some point I may, like, monetize the page and, like, just get a little bit of money from, like, the ads or something like that. But that's probably the most I'll do. Because honestly, like, I would rather more people see it than fewer people see it and, like, me make more money or something off of it like that. I'm not really into that. But as far as developing your own style, I mean, that's just something that, like, you can't force it. It just happens naturally. It's just, like, kind of the collective way that you draw things. Like, if somebody woke you up in the middle of the night and you're, like, tired and, like, just on autopilot and was like, hey, draw a car. And you draw that car, that's probably going to be the closest to your original style you're ever going to get. Because the thing is, you're always, like, influenced by what you see, like, to an extent that, like, kind of throws off what might be your personal style. You're like, oh, I saw this drawing, I want to, try to draw like that. So it's something that's, like, I think always changing, and kind of hard to quantify, and kind of hard to pin down, like, what your style is. Some days I don't even know. Actually, most days I don't know. For the near future, I'm just planning to do stuff on Periscope, because that's what I have the equipment for. I don't have, like, a super nice camera or anything, but I'm looking into investing in one. I've invested in a nice camera. I'm going to start adding more, like, actually high quality videos to, like, my YouTube and stuff, and as well as look into streaming elsewhere. Because, like, this is great for streaming, but, like, if I can stream with, like, higher quality video for you guys, then that's obviously going to be ideal. And yeah, there's no pencil under there. I'm just kind of, like, winging it. So, a rat guy, mouse guy. I don't know, he could be a rat or a mouse. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And like I said, these are little thank you drawings to go inside my comic book for people that have bought them. Excuse me. Yeah, it's nice on this paper. This paper is like it's like pretty smooth and not glossy, but it works nice. It's a good substitute for a fountain pen on this kind of paper. You still kind of get some of the same feel. And do my branding, and I've actually been like signing these because they like have space for them with my completely unintelligible signature. So I'm probably gonna do like one or two more of these, and then move on to doing some inking, like actual inking over a sketch that I was working on last night. So if you were around last night and you saw me inking, or rather sketching IG-88, the bounty hunter from Star Wars, I'm probably gonna be working on him a little bit. Hopefully I finish him. He's pretty complex. So I'm not sure exactly how long that's going to take me, but hopefully not too long. I think it might take a little while. Let's see, what am I going to draw here? I haven't been drawing enough bug guys lately. I'll probably draw a bug guy. Been looking at a lot of like really cool yeah, as long as I have the stickers. I have like 30 or 40, and I'll be putting... The sticker is actually this image here, and it doesn't like pull off this page, but that's what the sticker is going to look like, and it's about the same size. That's a pinup by Leland Goodman. I have drawn some FLCL stuff. I think one like little sketch that I did in a sketchbook, I did one of the characters. It's like the other main character, the pink-haired girl. I never remember her name. I just did like a drawing of like her face. It was nothing fancy. And I saw, like, I know there was at least one request that somebody made for me to draw something. And, oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I saw that somebody made a request for something, and I'm not, like, taking requests yet. If I don't take them normally. If I am going to do them, then I will let you know. It'll be in the description of the stream when I post it. I don't want to say like no requests because that's like negative. I don't want to like turn people off to viewing, but yeah, sorry, I'm not doing requests right now. And I have mentioned that I'll probably do a special stream where I take requests, like just the entire stream, like do for like an hour and a half or something, or like an hour, just take straight requests and do like quick sketches of everything. I actually didn't make the physical comic book. The writer that wrote it took charge of getting everything printed and ready for the printers. I just did the drawings inside. But he went through a printing company in China, I believe. Yeah, no, it was a printing company in China, and I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to check with him. Yeah, just a printing company. You just send them the files and they send you samples. Oh yeah, no. Bloodborne is super cool visually. Bloodborne is really cool, design-wise, and all the Souls games are, to be honest. And no, yeah, I never got around to playing it. So I don't have a PS4, and I don't know anybody that has one. Rather, I don't know anybody that like I'm close to. That has a PS4, so probably not gonna happen for me. And that's okay. As much as I'd love to play it. Got other stuff to do. And that's also the reason I'm not gonna be drawing requests. I got other stuff to do, guys. I'm sorry. It's like, it's not that I don't want to. I'd love to just sit around and draw whatever you guys want all day, but can't do it. And again, if you pose a question in chat and I missed it or passed over it and I have not answered it, then please put it back up there so I can see it. As far as drawing stuff digitally, I really don't. Like, I mean, it's safe to say that I almost never draw digitally. And the only digital drawing I actually do is like just blocking, doing flat colors. I don't even like doing like shading, I just do flat colors. Not only because I don't really like it, which is what I normally... Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that. Sorry about that. I saw that comment about the sketchbooks and I actually will answer that. But it's not only that I don't like drawing digital art, because I really don't, but I have a Wacom but my stylus isn't working, so there's really not a lot I can do, so I'm really limited to a mouse right now, so even flat colors like I try to avoid as much as possible. And the, okay, yeah, I'll answer that stuff about Gumroad. The sketchbooks, the one I always recommend is Stillman and Byrne. Stillman and Byrne brand sketchbooks. They got a lot of different papers, and it's pretty much the only brand I use anymore. It's the only brand I like anymore. I use Paper by Canson, but they don't make any really good like carrying sketchbooks. I like something that's not... that doesn't have rings in it, because rings are really obnoxious to get in and out of like bags and stuff. I always get caught, which is really frustrating. So I like stuff that has like a book bind, and Stillman and Byrne, all of their sketchbooks are book bound. In that style. Really great sketchbooks, can't recommend them highly enough. And Gumroad is super simple. I mean, you just set up an account, set up your products, and start selling them. Digital stuff is it's really easy to do digital stuff on Gumroad. It's like probably one of the best places to do, like if you're selling like a digital copy of your sketchbooks, which I do on my Gumroad. And again, my Gumroad is under my name, Merrick Jaraki, so if you just search for that, then you'll find it. And Stillman and Byrne, Stillman, S-T-I-L-L-M-A-N, and like an ampersand, I think they normally do, Byrne, B-I-R-N. And as far as like selling physical products on Gumroad, it's just you handle all the shipping yourself, but you can list the product there, and they have like the list of orders and stuff that you look at. Yeah, no problem, no problem. I will eventually make like a materials video to put on my YouTube where I just talk about the materials I use. So if people are asking like, what are your favorite pens? Like, what's your favorite sketchbook? Because I don't mind answering those questions. But just for the sake of like having some different stuff to talk about in the stream, I'll direct them to that specific video so they can like watch in depth. Because like even when I answer it here, like I'm wanting to talk about other stuff too, so I like give a more brief answer. Whereas if I make a video, I make it once, I can go as in depth as I want, and hopefully that'll be accessible enough for people. And the green board underneath, it's a cutting board. It's a self-healing cutting board by Alvin. You can see there. So I draw on top of it as well as using it for a cutting board. And they're a little bit spendy, but they're really nice. Like I've gone up and down this thing with X-Acto knives, and it doesn't get like cuts in it, like deep cuts that like your pen would pass over and like get caught or anything like that. So they're also really easy to like wipe down and clean. But like I have a glass desk, so if I didn't have this here, you'd be seeing like a um, really bad glare, and I don't want that. Well, no, I haven't listened to that, but I'll put that on my list of stuff that people have suggested to me. And I missed the other question, I'm sorry. Foster the People's okay. I like some of their stuff. Haven't heard of Spaz Kid before. As far as favorite old cartoons, I grew up on like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like Transformers and stuff, and I think that definitely inspired my art early on, because I would always like draw Transformers and like I had all the toys and stuff, so doing a lot of that stuff. But as far as anything that's like really heavily influenced my art, I think it's all like kind of conglomerated. Like I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of different stuff. And I think some of it shows in my style and some of it doesn't. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint like what would really be like key there in that. One of the shows that has influenced me a lot, just in like a design sense, is Cowboy Bebop. Just because, I mean, like storytelling too. Like the storytelling in that show is like totally unique. The characters are super fun. The style is super fun and unique. And like the environment design, the object design, the everything in it is just like great. I always refer to it as like the Star Wars of animation, because like it's just such like a richly detailed world. So I definitely pull a lot of inspiration from Bebop, especially like the stylized characters. It's all about practicing, and like not worrying to mess up. Like this is kind of like scribbly and gross, but you know, like finding out how to make your mistakes work is like super important if you're gonna do a lot of like straight to ink drawing. And it also builds your confidence too, because then, like, I think the key drain on confidence when you're drawing straight to ink is like, like worrying that you're gonna make a mistake. But once you figure out how to like correct your mistakes, or to make them work for you, or to just, put white out over it if it's really bad, then you're not afraid to make mistakes, and bye nervousness, and you get a lot more confident that way. So I'm going to go in here with the other end and just kind of like, really quick, because I want to spend like a ton of time in here, and I don't want to burn out the thin end of the pen too fast. Yeah, it's something I go back and forth to a lot, because some of the stuff that I work on I can't do. Like I have to sketch stuff because people want to make revisions, or need to change stuff before going straight to ink. So I don't have a choice there, but I try to do it a lot in my sketchbook, and I wouldn't be able to otherwise. Oh, thank you. Glad you like it. I always like drawing bug guys. I love drawing bugs. Like, nature was probably my biggest inspiration. It probably still is. That's another topic I need to make a like go-to video about, is like art school. I just need to like rant about art school for like 30 minutes. I went for a while. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, with his little like scarf. Yeah, I totally see that with like his backpack and everything. Gotta be prepared, man. Gotta be prepared. But yeah, I mean, it depends. Art school is really beneficial in like learning the fundamentals and like finding yourself as an artist. I think if you have a really good idea of like what you're doing, like, alright, like I want to make comics. I have a really solid style. I already have like, some people following me. Then, like just do that. Like you don't need to go to art school to learn to do something. You already know what you want to do. But if you're kind of at the point where like, I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know how to do it, and like I want to learn how to do digital stuff, like it's not a bad idea to go and learn and get professional, teaching. And I know it's not for everybody, and it's definitely not affordable for everybody, which is a huge problem, but yeah, if you're not sure, if you're feeling uneasy about art school, like I can tell you from experience that like it's so much money, and it's just so much money. It's like hard to comprehend how much money it costs to go to college at all, let alone art school. And I think there was a point in art school where I kind of like hit a wall, and I was like, oh well, like I was looking at the classes I was going to be taking next semester, and like I had other stuff going on, like family stuff developing, and like I just wasn't feeling it. I was just kind of like, like I'm not going to go back. And my wife still asked me, like, are you ever going to go back? Are you ever going to finish? And I was like, probably not. And I don't know. I mean, you really got to look at, like, your situation and where you're at. And think about that. Think about, is it something you can afford? You definitely don't need it. Like, don't worry if you can't afford art school. Like, it's absolutely not necessary. It can provide a lot of like really convenient shortcuts, where it's like really hard to teach yourself form and rendering. Like there are resources that can teach you that. But yeah, I mean, if you're starting too, like good luck. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You meet a lot of great people, and most of the people who teach at art schools are professionals or have been professionals. Like many of my teachers at the Academy of Art were still working as professional artists, like part-time. And so, like, even getting experience from people that were in the industry can be really, really good. So, good luck, man. Good luck. It'll be a great experience. This is a really interesting marker. I have not used this one before. This is a new... Once again, this is a Zig Rider by Kuretake, which is actually one of my favorite... one of my favorite brands. Oh yeah, I've heard of Art Center. Yeah, that's really cool. Props to you guys. If I had a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money, I'd probably go back just to finish what I started, but that's not where I'm at. Okay, so I spent about half hour warming up with that. That feels pretty good. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera there. I have to adjust it in a second anyway. Gonna be inking this guy that I was drawing yesterday, and I gotta pop the camera up. So hold on one moment. Oh, sorry, I got some like cords and stuff over here. The marker is a Kuretake Zig Rider, like a double tip type thing. Actually, I'll bring this up a little more. And when I was going to school, I studied illustration, which is what I've pretty much always known that I wanted to do, whether it be illustrating, I mean anything. anything, just like drawing and like storytelling through drawing, specifically with like focusing on comic books and stuff like that. Because I mean, I think my true passion is like making comic books. And I'm actually I'm gonna move him for a second, but you got to see that sketch. Before anybody starts asking, this is a carbon desk pen by Platinum that I'm going to be using to do the original line work. It's one of my go-to pens, currently one of my favorite pens, and it's got a cartridge and it's actually running low on ink, so I'm going to go ahead and refill it and take the opportunity to show you guys how I do that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Oh yeah, have you gotten a chance to use it? That's great. Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite pens. The what pen you're using is I found an inevitable question that will eventually happen, no matter what. It's not super fancy actually. It looks fancy, but as far as fountain pens go, it's really reliable and really affordable. And yeah, the Sailor ink is what I'm going to be refilling it with here. Sailor Black fountain pen ink. So I've got my syringe right here. It's just a plastic syringe with a really thin tip, and this is the cartridge that comes with the pen. And I've emptied it of the ink that it came with and just filled it with my own. And see, there's a little bit of ink in here, and if there's a little bit of ink in the tip there, if you try to fill it, it's just going to squirt out the other end. So if there's ink like in the top there, you want to try to like siphon as much of it out as you can if you're refilling cartridges. Because you don't want to create a vacuum. You want to be able to, the ink to flow in and air to flow out, because otherwise it's just going to shoot everywhere and make a huge mess. And so, actually, sorry, I can't do that with one hand. This syringe is pretty old, so it's starting to get dry. I need to replace it. And so when I fill it, I like try to push over to the side, so like I said, there's like air can get in, or air can get out and the ink can get in, and see it like almost did that to me. So I gotta make, that was almost a mess. This is actually not going well right now. There we go. There we go. So like be really careful at first, because it can like, if you just like jam on the syringe, it'll just all shoot out. And nobody wants that mess. So put the rest of the ink back in there. I don't know if that's... Yeah, so just be really careful when you're refilling those, because those can be kind of tricky sometimes. And I'm using a plastic syringe, which actually makes my job a lot more difficult. That's just what I have. If you get like the metal tip ones that just have the blunt ends that aren't sharp, then it's a lot easier because they're a lot thinner. So it's easier to get it like to the bottom of the cartridge and avoid that whole situation entirely. Yeah. You don't want to see that. And I think they do that, but pharmacies. But I'm pretty sure they give you sharp ones that are supposed to be used medically. I can't recommend doing that. I've never done it, and can't speak to like what they give you. I just buy mine from like office supply stores because they're designed for refilling printer ink cartridges. And yeah, I do. Not trying to ignore the requests and stuff, but I'm not doing requests right now. And there's like really no good way or bad way to hold a pen. The thing with fountain pens is you normally want them to hit at like a 45-degree angle. I mean, you can angle it a little bit more, but like as far as like the pen to the paper, the best ink contact is like around there. And it honestly takes just a little bit of playing with and finding the way to do it that's comfortable for you is more important than like trying to do it the right way. I've seen a lot of artists that like hold their pen like near vertically, and like a lot of artists that'll like tuck it onto their finger. It's really just like whatever's comfortable for you. I'm like a fingertip drawer, so I like to get like right down to the very end of the pen, at least as much as I can. If I'm drawing like stuff that I want to be more exaggerated, I'll move back on the pen, so I get like some bigger, like wilder lines. But other than that, it's pretty much just like however you want to do it. And just gonna be drawing IG-88, robot bounty hunter from Star Wars. Talked about him a lot. Last time I was on the stream, speculating about his life and his diet, that kind of thing. Sorry, we can get a drink of water real quick. If you guys would like me to move the camera closer to see like the detail I'm working on, I can do that. It might be a little bit blurry, but I'll try it for a little bit. Just because I don't want to be moving the paper around a lot, but I do want you guys to be able to like see the detail. And also, like the closer it is, the more it'll go in and out of autofocus. So we'll just kind of like hang out here for a bit. And if you guys really hate it, then let me know. And I don't know what the comment about tracing paper was. I don't know if that was referring to that I was using tracing paper or anything like that. I'm not. I'm just drawing on a single sheet of paper with a pencil sketch underneath that I'll erase later. These little like nubbins, sensor nubbins coming out of his head. I don't think that's a bad habit. I mean, unless you're like drooling on the paper, then maybe don't do that. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting your face really close. Like, it might hurt your eyes after a while, but other than that, it's probably fine. Like I said, it's all about doing things the way you're gonna do them. Cause like the more comfortable you are, the more confident you're gonna feel, and like the better your art will be for it. And no, I don't have a DeviantArt. No, I was on that place in like high school, and well, I mean, I'm trying to think of like something nice to say about it. Not that it's bad or that you shouldn't use it for any particular reason, but I found that there are a lot of like toxic people on there, and I'm just like, I don't like drama. I don't like people who start drama. So if drama's going on, then I just cut it out. And not to say that everybody on DeviantArt is like that. That's not what I mean at all. It's the vast minority of people that are the vast minority of people that like create a negative environment there, but I just didn't want to deal with it. The best places to see my art are honestly like Twitter and Instagram. I have like a portfolio website that is solely for the purpose of people Googling me and seeing like, oh, he has a website. Neat. That's pretty much like it. There's not a lot of like super updated stuff on there, but like a pretty good collection of like my work. But yeah, I mean, check out like my Tumblr, my Instagram, my Twitter. That's where I'm posting stuff every day. So if you want the updated stuff, which I'm sure you probably do, then those are the places to go. And any of those accounts you can find by searching my name. And I usually try to post something every day. That's the goal. I'm pretty busy during the day, so a lot of times I'm not able to actually draw during the day. I only get to draw late at night, so if I don't post for a day, it usually means that I didn't get to draw anything the night before to post during the day, and that's why. I'm not dead or anything, just busy. Excuse me. I'm a flat desk drawer. A lot of people recommend drawing with your desk tilted for postural reasons and stuff like that. And the reality is it's all about your own good posture. Even when I work with my desk flat, I sit up straight. I have a stool that's designed to give me good posture, automatically just by sitting in it. So that works for me. And if I'm working on something really huge, I will sometimes try to work on a tilted surface, but most of the time if I'm working on something huge, I'll just put it on the floor and lay down and work on it. And I did see that question earlier about painting. I don't really paint other than watercolor, so if you count watercolor as painting, then yes. But I really only use it for coloring. I don't use it to actually just straight up paint something. I'm not a painter, I'm an illustrator. For sure. There's not always a difference between those two, but I think most illustrators, when that term comes to mind, people think pen and ink or graphite, that kind of stuff. That's by no means limiting or saying if you paint you can't be an illustrator, because that's not true, but that's just I think what comes to mind. Tips for drawing clothing. I did talk about that a little bit yesterday, and it's really about understanding what's underneath the clothing and how to shape the clothing around the figure, or if you're drawing a sheet draped over a bed, how that how physics affect the sheet and how the form underneath affects it, and just trying to kind of generally create an understanding, and commit it to muscle memory, have a good idea of how this kind of t-shirt would hang over somebody's shoulder, or how that neckline would drop if they're bending over or something like that. And I saw the question about dip pens, but I think I think there was one more question before that I actually just totally spaced on. I was spending that quiet second trying to remember what was that? What did they say? And I don't remember, so I apologize. I can be pretty scatterbrained sometimes. And while I'm talking about dip pens, if you want to put that question back up, I'd be happy to answer it as best I can. And yeah, I have tried dip pens, and they're great for certain things. But I don't use them all that often, to be totally honest. I have a bunch of them, and I just every time I try them, I wish I was using a fountain pen, which I think is a pretty good indicator that I should just use a fountain pen. Simply because if I'm on a roll, the worst thing to happen is run out of ink mid-line. And I think people who use dip pens, more regularly are used to making sure they have enough ink to get where they want to go, but I just always got really frustrated with that. And yeah, sometimes I do feel unmotivated. And I mean, if you draw from dip pens and you like them, then more power to you. The biggest difference, and I will get back to the other question. I'm sorry. The biggest difference is that. Well, there's two really big differences, I would say. Obviously, a dip pen fills from a bottle, and a fountain pen fills from some sort of supply, some sort of reservoir, whether it be a cartridge or a reservoir. I mean, it is a reservoir. When there's no cartridge, that's pretty much what it's called. To repeat myself. And the other difference is like the style of nibs. The thing about dip pens is you can get a wider range of nibs and not have to pay for an entire pen attached to it, which is really nice. And you can also get a lot of like really smaller, scratchier nibs than you can find on fountain pens. But I just can't get past the fact that I have to refill ink so often with the dip pens is really frustrating to me. And also the portability. Like, I know people like carry around bottles of ink with them and stuff to do dip pens. I know people that do it, but I'm always worried about, if I have a bottle of ink and my sketchbook in my bag, like I'm just worried about that disaster like waiting to happen. And yeah, about being unmotivated, that happens. That happens to everybody. Like, I seriously doubt there's any artist who will look you in the eye and say, like, yeah, I never feel unmotivated. It's like, I think that's just life. Like, that just happens. That's a natural part of things. And there are many, many ways to, like, get past that. So, don't worry if it happens. It happens to everybody. A lot of times, I don't have a choice. Like, I have deadlines and stuff that I have to do. So, feeling unmotivated, it's like I can't be unmotivated. I have to sit down and work. I get stuff that needs to get done. So, I have my methods for trying to like get past that. And I've talked about them a lot. Like, having like Pinterest boards full of inspirational stuff to draw when I don't have ideas, or that kind of thing. And I'll probably, my whole plan for the YouTube channel is to kind of do like general videos like that, talking about, broader concepts where I can actually like sit down and like really address them. And I might even do like a post-commentary thing while I like record a video of me drawing and then post-commentary afterwards talk about a subject like that, so that I can really focus on the topic at hand. And what I am working on, ATM, is a robot bounty hunter from Star Wars called IG-88. And, excuse me, I'm sorry I keep clearing my throat. I'm trying to break that habit of doing it automatically because I know it probably doesn't sound super nice. It'd be super cool to make an animated film, I think, in my style. I think, like, maybe this is reaching a little bit, but I think I would like to be the art director on an animated film. Because, like, I've tried animation before, and while I enjoy it, it takes so long to do, and, like, I'm just a comics person, which takes still a long time, but a lot less time. So I think if I could, like, do a lot of the art direction on an animated film, I'd really, like, if anybody gave me the opportunity ever to do that, I would immediately, like, yes, absolutely. Because it'd be really fun. And it would be fun to find a way to animate my style. I mean, I spend so long drawing, and, like, my stuff has so much detail that I feel like it'd be kind of difficult to translate. But I'm sure I could figure something out. Yeah, like drawing keyframes and talking about, working with like a team of people. 'Cause there's honestly like very few things I love more than like collaborating with other creative people. Like I wouldn't want to be the art director. It's like, okay, this is what I would do, so do everything this way. I want to like talk to everybody and like get their ideas and like have them invest themselves in it, because that's what I think that's what makes animation and even like stuff with like game design successful. And yeah, I mean, regarding that question, like if you have your own comics and stuff, or anything like that that you're working on that you want me to take a look at, like, I'm happy to check it out. You can either like send me links on Twitter or Tumblr, or email it to me or whatever. And even if you want, like, you know, like some critique or some criticisms or stuff like that on your work, I'd be happy to do that. The one warning I'd give is that sometimes I have a long turnaround time on like answering emails. So it could be like a couple weeks before I actually answer you. So if you send me something and I don't answer for a little while, don't be upset. Don't think like I'm trying to ignore you. I'm honestly not. I just deal with so many emails, it's hard for me to like get on top of it sometimes. And like work emails, I'm not talking about emails from you guys. I don't want to like scare you off from actually emailing me. Yeah, and that kind of goes with the question, like, getting established as an artist. And it honestly has taken me, if you really want to think about it, like, my entire life to get established as an artist. But as far as, like, seriously trying to get established as an artist, I've been doing that for, like, I'd say the last 2 years. And, it's pretty much taken me, like, I'm still not super established, you know? Like, I have a lot of fans and stuff, but what I lack is material. Like, I've been doing so much, like, freelance work that I've had very little time to develop, like, my own stuff. Which has been problematic, because people are like, you know, like, you need to be drawing comics. And, like, I am. I'm just working on them. And I don't have a lot of time to work on them. I was like, I want to buy your comics. Like, that's great. I have one. It's really short. So, like, that's been a lot of my problem. And mostly it's just because, like, freelancing is a supplemental income for my family, so like we count on it to pay bills and stuff. So like if it were possible for me to like take a whole bunch of time off to like, you know, like really write my comic and start thumbnailing it so I could actually like start working on pages, then I totally would, but I just like I can't. And that's why I started my Patreon stuff, which is an opportunity for people to support me in like my more personal creative endeavors without like, you know, expecting like commissions or stuff in return. Now I do have that being said, I do have rewards on my Patreon, which I feel are pretty worthwhile. But like the more Patreon is basically like an offset for my commercial work. Like the more support I get on Patreon, the more funds I get from that. Because that all of the Patreon money goes straight to paying bills. So the more bills that I get paid, the more I can like stop relying on freelancing commercial work to pay my bills. But going back to the question, getting established is just like it's you got to get yourself out there. Like you just got to start posting stuff online, and you got to start like showing people that like you have this thing that you're making that you want to show people, and to be redundant, and you know. It'll all come to you in time. Like it starts super slow. Like I was just looking through my pictures and I saw a screenshot that I had took from my Twitter profile when I had 666 followers. Because, you know, like tee hee giggle giggle, I got like 666 followers. But it was amazing because like now I have I think 4,000 or more, something like that on Twitter. And I didn't even have an Instagram or anything at that time, but like that's where I was. And like looking at where I am now, it's like I couldn't really say if there's like anything in particular that got me from that point at 600 followers to the point where I'm at now. But other than just like giving, like putting my stuff out there, like telling people this is what I'm making, like come check it out. And like one thing I can say that was really helpful in the beginning was doing like a daily sketch thing, where excuse me again, sorry about the throat clearing. Doing like and you can look at like sketch dailies on Twitter, which is basically an account that will post a sketch topic every day for you to work on. So like if you don't have ideas, or you know you don't have any serious like other stuff to be working on, and you want like a great way to get exposure, like do that. Because if you do the Sketch Dailies topic and like tag them and post like with all the hashtags and stuff, like there are people that will go through and search for just Sketch Daily stuff, and so that creates another level of exposure for your stuff that people wouldn't normally be like have there before. Like, I mean, like I was talking about yesterday, an artist that I've talked to, Jake Parker. I asked him when I was starting out, like, you know, like what are tips for starting out? And I mentioned this last night, but I'll mention it again because I think it's really important. He said, paraphrasing, that getting yourself out there is important, and drawing fan art is really great because people will come to see the fan art because they like the characters and then stick around for your actual work. And I think just that idea of like just getting yourself out there. Did I say Jake Parker? Did I actually say who it was? And the other artist I talked to? If I did say Jake Parker, that was incorrect. It's Jake Wyatt. But Jake Parker does a lot of the... he does sketch dailies from time to time, and he does a lot of the... He runs like he started rather the Inktober thing, which is another really great thing. And that's coming up, so like if you want more exposure, do the Inktober, because like just using that hashtag will get more people seeing your work. And like don't be afraid to use hashtags. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think there's a line you can cross where if you're just adding a ton of hashtags just to add hashtags, then like stop. Like 3, I think, is like the most you should do. I think it's like the median, like where you know, like you don't look desperate by having 3 hashtags. But if you have like art, drawing, sketching, life, art for life, artist forever, like, you can, like, don't do that. I think that's safe. I think that's safe. Three hashtags. So like, you know, because like if you do Inktober, you can do like, you know, Inktober for your first hashtag, and then if you drew a cat, it's like cat is your second hashtag, and then if your cat is a wizard, it's like wizard is your third hashtag. You know, or you can do like ink drawing. Like I do like ink. I don't do a lot of hashtags anymore because like frankly I don't need to. That's not meant to sound like I'm bragging, but like I don't need to. Like, but it's a great way to get your art in places where it wouldn't show up otherwise. Totally. I think it's like, yeah. My favorite, like, what's my favorite thing to fan art? It always changes. Like, I'm always like, whenever I see a show or something, I'm always like, ooh, I need to draw fan art of that. Like, I really want to draw fan art of that. It's always the new stuff, like most exciting stuff that I haven't drawn fan art of before. I think one of my like returning favorites for drawing fan art, and something that I haven't drawn fan art of in a long time actually, is Monster Hunter. Just because, like, once again, that's a game that like has such great design as far as like the monster design and the weapon design and all of that. It's just like so much fun to draw those monsters, and it's fun to draw the armor made out of monster parts, and plus there's cat warriors, like, you know, all the obvious reasons. That's not too off topic. I like talking about that stuff too. Like, you can't always talk about art. I'll go and say, like I already said, like Cowboy Bebop is probably my favorite show ever. I honestly think like there's very little chance that'll ever change. And I'll give you 2 favorite movies. I'll give you one animated one and one I guess like real life isn't the way to say it, but like not animated, like actually like live actor movie. My favorite animated movie is Akira, for reasons that are pretty obvious. And my favorite live-action movie is The Thing, the original, by John Carpenter, or directed by John Carpenter, rather. And I mentioned that already. It's like the fact that they actually like made all of the monsters and made it look totally convincing. Oh, it's such a great movie. Just the story and like, you know, the 80s cheese of it all is just spot on. It's everything I like. I'll give you some opinions on the new one after I tell you to like go watch Akira if you haven't seen it. Especially if you're an artist. Or like check out the manga at least. Because Katsuhiro Otomo is just like a master of so many things. Drawing stylish, realistic characters, drawing action, drawing debris, I mean anything. You tell that dude to draw anything, he'll make it like the most interesting thing on a piece of paper. Hey, see you later. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, it's like required watching. But yeah, the new The Thing movie, I actually really liked it, which I think a lot of people find surprising because the reasons I like the old one, like very few, if none of them, are present in the new movie. But like, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and like I'll suspend my disbelief because I love the concept too so much of like the mutagenic life form. You know, like Dead Space is one of my favorite games. All the Resident Evil games, because I just love that, you know, that kind of concept. And a lot of those concepts are translating over into the comic book I'm working on. I wish they would have like actually made all of the monsters and just like stayed true to it in that sense. I know that it's not necessarily realistic in this day and age. I still thought that the whole like prequel idea worked really well. As far as the Thing movie went. And I actually liked most of the characters. The creatures were still really well designed. Really well designed, but I just kind of missed that like whole rubber monster feel. Excuse me. Fallout games, yeah, I love those. I've been playing those since Fallout 1. When it was still like it wasn't a hex based, it was like a Pentagon based tactical game, but love those. Played a lot of Fallout 3. Played a lot of New Vegas. Probably will cry when Fallout 4 comes out, so I won't be able to play that. And yeah, I do know that they use a lot of practical effects in the thing, but like compared to, you know, the original that was like 100% practical effects, it's just like it's weird to go back and forth for me. Like I feel like you kind of have to do one or the other. Because that's what kind of takes me out of the movie, is saying like, oh, like that's, you know, that's a rubber monster, and oh, that's not, you know, that's CG. So that totally like, as much as I am willing to suspend my disbelief, that kind of like takes me out of it. I mean, yeah, I did see that somebody mentioned Mad Max. I'm a massive fan of that entire series, and I have seen all the movies. Many times. The new one I've only seen once because I haven't had a chance to go see it more than once in theaters, but I will be getting that immediately when it's on Blu-ray. And once again, kind of like fits the the theme of what I like usually being attributed to just like really good design and like really great world building. Because like I think that kind of stuff just like speaks to me, because like that's what I do. That's what I do with like my art is, and I guess what I strive for with my art is like to, as a so-called illustrator, like world build with images and like tell stories with images, and all the movies I like tend to do that really well. So I think that's probably just like kind of my taste. Like if something doesn't have good design, like I'm immediately criticizing the design in my head, and it ruins the suspension of disbelief for me. And like even worse than like, because like I can forgive not great design, what I can't forgive is like illogical design. Like stuff that's like added on, you know, that just doesn't make sense. And I'll probably catch a lot of flack for this, and I feel like I always will, but just because I draw a lot of unrealistic armor, and I draw a lot of like unrealistic outfits and stuff. But it drives me nuts, and I will mention Game of Thrones too. That I hate unrealistic armor, especially on females. But my argument that I will give is that when I draw unrealistic armor on females, I'm not trying to make it in a realistic setting. Like I'm drawing it in like a farcical, or like a, you know, like a way that I'm not intending it to be like taken seriously. But if I see somebody drawing, you know, boob plate armor, or like armor where like the entire thigh is exposed, I'm just like, drives me up the wall. If it's in a setting where it's, you know, meant to be taken seriously. I honestly, like, I get it in fantasy games, because I feel like they're, you know, like it's a game, and that's fine, but like in a movie, if somebody has a boob plate or like exposed armor, like you wouldn't actually wear that into battle. Like you can't actually try to like tell me that someone is actually seriously wearing that, not expecting to get killed within 5 seconds. So in settings where there's like magic flying around and like other stuff, then, you know, like whatever. The Spartans in 300, I mean, that was probably a lot of the fact that it's hot as hell in that part of the world and very humid, as well as that was totally like their mantras, like, you know, fighting battles through intimidation, and that's a totally like that's one of the exceptions that proves the rule, simply because it's a different situation. Now, if you were to argue that every character that wears armor like that is trying to fight a war of intimidation, like you can't, no. Like it doesn't, no. Like that's not a, like, you know, end all be all excuse. And that's just stuff to think about in design. I mean, maybe your design aesthetic is to draw that kind of stuff, and that's fine. I'm not like, you know, I'm just saying it drives me nuts. Like you just won't win me over if you're trying to get me to take chainmail bikinis seriously as a form of protection. And there's always exceptions, man. Like, pointing out the fact that there's an exception doesn't really, like, change anything. Sorry if I'm offending anybody, it's not like... Yeah, armor skirts are kind of weird. I mean, it's kind of a give or take thing, because, like, armor skirts are actually used practically. And mostly it's to increase mobility, because you don't have, like, instead of having heavy armor on your legs, like, you have the partitioned armor skirt, which still provides some protection while letting your legs breathe and letting you move a little bit more. Like, the Romans use that a lot. But also, they had very large shields. You have to keep that in mind. That, yeah, they had exposed leg armor, and the Spartans as well. Like, they have exposed leg armor, but they have very large shields, too. Other means of protecting themselves. Whereas a character running into battle with, like, you know, an axe, and no other means of protecting themselves, and they're not wearing... You run into battle with an axe and you're not wearing armor to protect your legs, like, a dude with a sword is just going to stab you right in your thigh and you're going to bleed out. Like, that's the end of you. So, sorry, not sorry for that tangent. I get very opinionated about that kind of stuff. And, like, you know, like I said, more power to you if you want to draw that kind of thing. Like, draw what you want to draw. I'm not by any means... I think a lot of people confuse me ranting with, like, telling people not to draw stuff. Because that's not what I'm trying to do, whatsoever. I'm just trying to tell you that, like, you know, like, think about it. And also in Mass Effect, like, I think it's weird in Mass Effect because they use other technology to protect themselves, like shields and stuff, so it gets kind of like... In sci-fi, it's different. In sci-fi, it's different. Like I said, with fantasy, it's different. But if you're going to take me, like, you know, on a straight medieval fantasy, and... Yeah, and again, that's one of those things, like, Dark Souls has a lot of, like, realistic elements, and honestly, like, if you look at that game, the larger, bulkier armor has more protection. And, like, there are a lot of armors that, you know, don't have leg coverings or stuff like that, or, like, you know... stuff like that, but like the skimpier armor offers less protection. So it's like that. I mean, the logic is there already. Like, I don't have to explain that. And that's like a playstyle in that game. And once again, it's a fantasy game, so you like can't take it at face value. But and like Game of Thrones, which I was going to mention, I had a really hard time getting into Game of Thrones. I watched like the first 3 seasons, and honestly, it's just like really slow. A lot of the concepts are cool, but like at some point in my life, I'll watch it all at once and not worry about like catching it. Like once it's done with, you know. Just because I don't like waiting so long for like so little to happen in each episode, and like a lot happens spread over a bunch of characters, so like only a little bit happens in each storyline, and that kind of drives me nuts. Because I'm always wanting more. And I know that's like a design element of that show, is like keeping people wanting more, but it's just not my speed. I'm just not a huge TV watcher as it is. And I actually applaud Dark Souls for its design considerations when it comes to like weapons and armor and stuff like that. Especially because like there are a lot of Dark Souls 2 is different, and I didn't play Dark Souls 2 at all past the beta. But like commenting with my knowledge from Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, like the weapons were done pretty realistically. I mean, you don't see a lot of like huge, great swords being swung around really fast. Like they may seem fast for gigantic swords, but a lot of the great swords have like not only like massive strength requirements, but like really like long animations when you finish a swing, and like not a lot of combos really. There are some exceptions, but also you got to think in Dark Souls, like they make a lot of mentioning in lore that like, you know, a weapon, the description on a weapon that takes 40 strength states that it requires inhuman strength to wield. So you're thinking that as an undead, you know, you're not bound by human limitations. So when you're increasing your soul level to 40 and putting all that into strength, you were far surpassing that of like normal human strength. So you can't think of it in the sense of, you know, what a human would be able to do. And so they like totally covered their asses on that end. Potentially without you knowing it. Yeah, I will post this this on YouTube. I'm gonna start, as long as I don't have any like technical difficulties, I'm gonna be posting all of these on YouTube. And I'm just taking a like really quick break to like stretch my hands and stuff. And yeah, I know, like, I would totally read the books if I had time, because that would be a better um, way for me to get all of the story, like, as quickly as I wanted it, but I don't have a lot of time to read, because, like, reading means I'm not drawing, and outside of, like, caring for my son and stuff like that, I just don't have a lot of, like, free time, so I choose to use it for drawing. And yeah, I did see that question about the ink. I'm sorry, I was, like, ranting and raving. Um, this ink doesn't smear a lot, but I still have to be careful about, like, the really wet spots. Like, over here, like, when I was getting, like, really in there, uh, I felt it. I felt, like, the wet ink, so I was like, oh, I had to pull my hand up. But it's fairly quick drying, but still, I wouldn't, like, draw something and then wipe my hand over it. There's still, like, some degree of care that needs to be taken. And I'll probably go ahead and finish inking this guy, because I'm getting pretty close to done. And I'm going to be getting a lot more, like, abstract in here and just doing a lot of, like, filling. So I'll probably end up going for another, like, half hour, well, probably like 40 minutes, just because I got it started late today. My son is just about to be 2. He turns 2 next week. And I did mention that I'm a stay-at-home dad during the day, so, like, I draw at night once everybody's asleep, and that's, like, pretty much the only work time I get other than the weekend. So I have to use my free time wisely. And so it means I don't play a lot of video games, and I don't read a lot of books, and honestly I don't read a lot of comics or consume a lot of media, just because I'd rather be drawing. And, you know, I got mouths to feed, man. Or mouths to help feed. I don't do it all on my own. But if I'm getting close, like, I'm thinking, like, my cutoff is just going to be, like, 11:30. And it's 10:47 now. I'm not even going to go there yet. I am terrified. Like, I'm just, you know, he's tantruming and he's pushing boundaries and he's, like, way too smart for his own good. And I'm just going to, like, ignore the fact that he's ever going to get older than he is now and just try to survive while I can. I actually, like, really love this song, so I'm going to pump it a little bit and just stay quiet for a few minutes. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am married. I just always, like, get in the... No, it's all good. It's all good. I just always get in the zone when I hear this song, so... Yeah, I turned it back down. It's all good. I got my jams out. Had to like wiggle for a second there, and just dance a little bit. So, yeah, I've heard of Society 6. I tried to get some prints on there once. I don't know. I'm just trying to stick to Gumroad. Like, there's a lot of like great shop options out there for like running an online shop, and whether it be like on-demand printing service or stuff like that. Like if you want to make a lot of like phone cases and stuff like that, I think that if I'm remembering correctly, like Society 6 does that, and that's really great. But like I'm focusing mostly on like digital content and like actual physical items, like books, like not stuff stuff that I'll have printed beforehand. And I just like the accessibility and ease of use of Gumroad a lot. That's a big deal to me, like making something easy and quick to use, so that's what I use. I mean, yeah, really early, like I'm just running late, so. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Catch you later. Yeah, you can sell physical items through Gumroad, it's just not on-demand printing. So basically, you just use it as a way to sell stuff and keep track of your orders, and then you mail out everything yourself. Yeah, guys, run to Old Navy. Sorry for the ads. Again, I'm using free version of Spotify. Yeah. I'm trying to. It's not going to be like 100% every night, but I'm going to try to most nights get on the stream for at least a little while. Sometimes I work on stuff that I can't share, whether it be like a private commission or like something for a game that hasn't been announced or released yet. And so if I do stuff like that, like I won't be able to stream, but I'll try to at least get on and like stream my warm-up. So I'm going to try to at least do a little bit. I've been lucky enough to be working on stuff that like I can totally stream and share. So I've been doing long streams. So I'll try to at least stream for a little bit each night. Weekends are going to be a little different, simply because my work schedule is a lot more, like changes a lot more on the weekends. So that I'll kind of like have to just play by ear and see when I get time and like make announcements so you guys know when it's going to happen. Well, that's good. I feel like I'm being grilled here. And that's also like a pretty broad question. As a male, I feel like it's hard for me to really comment because, like accurately, because I don't like really feel it the same way. When a gender may be like misrepresented or like not represented enough or anything like that. I definitely see it. The way like just looking at like the Avengers posters, like. And stuff like that, like the way females are represented and like how often and in what way and like what purpose their characters serve. Like it's kind of sad to see the trends. And not saying that like everybody does it, but I'm the kind of person who at least tries as hard as I can in my serious stuff. I know I draw a lot of like naked girls and stuff, guys. I know that, and that's that's for fun, and it's not meant to be taken seriously, but in my comic works, like I try as hard as I can to give as good of representation as I can. I actually really enjoy writing for like writing female characters and creating female characters because they're a challenge. Because it's it's not something that I know, as well as I do feel that like there's never a shortage of like strong female characters that are like, or there. I mean, you can never have too many. There is a shortage. That's what I meant to say. You can never have too many like strong female characters that are like actually strong and realistic, too. And actually, several of the main characters, the two most prominent characters in my comic book are female. They are animals, but still. And I'm aiming for, you know, the best representation as I can. They're not characters that I plan on sexualizing in any way. I do tend to like some Street Fighter character design. I feel like a lot of it is pretty dated, and that just kind of goes with the aesthetic, but like some of the new characters that I've seen, like Nikali, I think he is, like, I really don't like his character design. Something about it is just like weird to me. But I'm not a super huge Street Fighter fan, so I'm probably not the best person to ask. I also, you know, on the trends of like almost all of the female characters in most fighting games, and not just Street Fighter, are like super sexualized. I think is Jury the... I don't know which one Jury is. I think it's a... Nah, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with Street Fighter. I saw it... Actually, I happened to see the new character, Nikali, on an ad on YouTube, so it wasn't like I was going out looking for it. No, I don't have my own printer. I barely have a scanner. I have like a really dinky scanner. Pretty much always go through third-party stuff. But the only thing I've printed so far, and I actually didn't do it, was the comic book I'm selling on my Gumroad right now. Mother made us today. But the printing service that the guy who wrote it, my buddy, used is a really great printing service out of China, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head, and I will post it once I remember, but if I need stuff printed in the future, I will probably go through them. And no, I'm not using photo reference to draw this guy. I did, however, use photo reference when I drew the undersketch. Yeah, I mean, it's just a sketch. It doesn't need to be anything else. And this isn't like super accurate to his design either, to keep in mind. Like the general things are in place, like these things are there, and like the pads and stuff. Like I'm not staying 100% faithful. Mostly because I wanted to oppose him in a more organic way that like his super stiff robotic design didn't really like enable me to do. So I'm taking some liberties, that's for sure. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because, like, usually if I draw an established character in my style, I do make some changes. Not only because it's fun to kind of, like, fiddle with the design, but, like, I think people enjoy seeing kind of, like, you know, a slightly different take sometimes. Yeah, I think I actually started to talk about that and may have gotten distracted or sidetracked or something. Yeah, I do want to explore other streaming services and recording better quality YouTube videos once I get an actual like decent recording setup. This is really convenient for me right now because like I have an iPad already. To do like Twitch or something like that, I want a better camera and I don't have that nor the money for it right now. But I've also, because I'm like really wanting to expand into like more recording based stuff, like video based stuff, like doing like question and answer stuff, you know, kind of like I'm doing now, and like talking about art concepts and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm thinking about adding some like Patreon goals associated with that, with rewards ranging from like exclusive videos to like early access to all the videos. Because like I really want, like good equipment to be able to like record good videos and stream in good quality, and I just like, it's a lot of money. So if in the future I do stuff like that, and establish those goals, and like you guys are interested and want to help support that idea and like want to see more of that kind of stuff from me, you can go on Patreon and support me and help me get closer to doing stuff like that, because I really want to. It's really not a matter of want. I really do. Just need the resources. Yeah, and I did see that you can stream on YouTube, and I'm just not at the point where I've like looked at that stuff yet because I'm not ready to do it. I would probably end up just streaming on YouTube just because I'm already on YouTube. Like, doing it on Twitch is just another account, and like, I've got enough accounts in my life. If I don't have to do it, I won't. Yeah, I'm really glad you guys are stopping by and like engaging in conversation and stuff. It's a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys have fun too. I'm sorry I've been drawing this robot guy for so long. He's taken a lot of effort, to be honest. But it's fun. I like really enjoy drawing like little mechanical details. I don't know how much fun it is to watch, but I like it. Thanks. Yeah, when I envisioned this drawing, I wasn't originally like gonna strap on like stuff on his back because I want to have like billowing smoke coming off the back, and I don't really want to mess with that too much. I envisioned him like holding the rifle down here, and it wouldn't make a lot of sense to like draw it in. So I may not. He normally does have a gun, so it would make sense, but I kind of wanted to just like play to the character and like show him like after a battle or something, like being shot up. But tomorrow I'll be streaming again. Well, I may like just do a short stream tomorrow because I have another friend stream that I want to watch. But I'll probably do like a warm up or something, or like I'll just do like a quick sketch because I'm doing a full series of these bounty hunter guys. So you're gonna be seeing like Bosk and friends, Boba and I don't know the names of the other bounty hunters from Empire. Those are the ones I know. But yeah, that's gonna be happening. So you'll be seeing those guys over the next like probably like 2 weeks, I think. So I may do some like thumbnails of those guys, or work on some little, because I'm doing little postcards to go along with the large pieces. And so I may do some of those. I'm not sure yet what I'll do tomorrow. I might just do like a warm up or like some practice with like a different, like maybe like a not art related chat tomorrow. Like we'll talk about like other stuff, Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We'll see. It'll be a surprise, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The characters are so cool. I'm really excited for the new movie. Haters gonna hate. I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna love it. I'm pretty much just wrapping this guy up. I mean, this is like the last legs here, because I'm literally drawing like the last leg I have to draw. I got jokes. I got jokes. I had more jokes yesterday. Today has been like a more serious stream, and I think that's just like I was feeling more sassy yesterday. But hey, yeah, good night. Thanks for stopping by and all the questions. And yeah, like I try to say it a couple times just so everybody hears it, because I know people like kind of come and go and stuff like that. But yeah, thanks for coming by. I mean, you guys like really make this fun for me, and just by like showing up and engaging and like even like arguing, uh, that's kind of cool too. Like I like just chatting and drawing and hanging out. Like I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. I really really do. Like I don't say thank you often enough to the people who come around every day and uh, look at my stuff and retweet and comment and like and watch my streams, and you guys are just like, you make my day. You guys are the best. Yeah, have a good night. I'll probably got like another like 20 minutes I'll do. So I'm just gonna finish him up, and then do like a little cool down. I'll probably just do a little bit of like scribbling in my sketchbook. Yeah, I'm really really happy. Glad you enjoy it. Happy you came by. And like I said, um, if you like came in part way and you want to see the beginning, or you want to see some of my older streams, you can go to my YouTube and search for me on YouTube just by my name. I need to again look and see if I need to like actually change the channel name. I'm pretty sure the channel name is just my name, but it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of weird. I can't really find the setting to actually change the name of the channel if there is one. So, but I'm also really new to like actually having a YouTube channel. Oh, okay, it is. Okay, that's good. That's good. Thanks for the confirmation on that. But yeah, Merrick Draka on YouTube. All I have up there now are like a handful of my old Periscope streams. I've also haven't been doing that for this long. I only did it last weekend and this week that I've started doing. So if you want to see the old ones, and actually you can see the one where I sketched this guy. That was the most recent one. So I will be posting the recordings of these up there, because I know they're only on the app for like 24 hours or something like that. And that looks like totally weird there. That's like kind of like lining up with his arm. I actually really don't like it. So I'll probably just get this like a little bit darkened in. Hey, thanks. Thanks for coming by on your first time. Happy to be your first time. Just kidding. Not just kidding, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I do listen to Mastercraft. I like Mastercraft a lot. actually don't have a lot of Mastercraft on this playlist simply because, like, when I did get into them, like, really heavy, like, a year ago, I listened to them all the time and, like, totally burnt myself out on it. It's like, I still love them and listen to them occasionally, but I don't often have them on playlists because I found that I was, like, just skipping all the songs anyways. Like, I've heard the song a million times. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But definitely some good stuff there if you haven't heard them before. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I really like Simian Mobile Disco. Simian Mobile Disco is really good, and Fake Blood is really good too. And those are both like kind of are like in the same vein as Mastercraft, but have a lot. I'm pretty happy with that drawing. No, I haven't. I haven't heard of Mogwai at all. If I have heard of them, I don't. Yeah, it's on my list now. I have like a list of running of stuff that people have suggested in the stream that I listen to that I'm kind of like slowly chipping away at. They're all good for that guy. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me scratch away at him for like an hour. Yeah, I will. I'll be posting. I did another drawing before of Zuckus, and I will be posting them online. I just need to get them scanned, to be honest. I was going to do another one of these comic book sketches, but I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to go on my sketchbook because I feel like doing that. I'm getting to the end of the sketchbook, actually. There's a few more pages left here. That was one I drew the other day. That was a nice one. I had fun doing that one. And this is the Stillman and Byrne that I was talking about. The sketchbook. Really, really nice, just like solid sketchbook. Good paper quality. And like I said, they have a lot of different kinds of paper too, so you can kind of like try everything and find out what you like. And let's see here. I'm gonna be drawing. I'm gonna do a little bit of scratching with this guy here. Another favorite pen of mine, which is the sorry, I'm trying to find a different song I want to listen to. This is one of my favorite fountain pens, VAC 700. This got this huge vacuum-filled reservoir of ink, and it's running low, but like this, like 2 milliliters of ink lasts a very long time. And that's actually not a bad idea to sketch something from Dark Souls, or at least something like kind of like Dark Souls-y, like dark medieval fantasy. That's always like fun stuff to draw. Particularly in Dark Souls, like just like the feel of the weapons. Like I always really love like the feel of the weapons, and like the enemy design was always like really cool, and the environment design obviously was like super cool. And I've actually been watching a Let's Play of Dark Souls 1 by Epic Name Bro on YouTube. His Marcus. He like worked on some of the guides for Dark Souls, and so like has like a lot of like really extensive knowledge. I'm actually gonna do one of my favorite for probably fairly obvious reasons characters from Dark Souls were the Chaos Sisters that were like the ones that like had spider bodies, like chaos spider bodies. I don't know like how you like what exactly they were, but like Quelaag and Quailana were like my favorite characters ever. It's just such a cool thing. So I'm gonna do like a little like Quailana sketch. That's not going to be super accurate at all. Oh man, and that's when the game really started getting hard too. Like the right before the moments leading up to Sen's Fortress and Anor Londo was like Blighttown, the depths. Like that's when the game like really started saying like it's showing its true colors. And honestly, like, I felt like Dark Souls 1 was so easy compared to Demon Souls. So easy in comparison. Because, like, Blighttown is the spiritual successor to the Valley of Defilement in Demon Souls. And the Valley, like, if you just compare those two, like, compare the Valley of Defilement to Blighttown, like, Blighttown is, like, a walk in the park. I don't know what you mean by the first cave in Dark Souls. If you're talking about, like, the catacombs? Because I know that's the closest cave to the entrance, but it's definitely not intended as a starting area. Oh, Dark Souls 2. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I didn't play Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 1 is way better, if you ask me. Like, Dark Souls 2 had a lot more to it, but, I mean, in terms of, like, not necessarily, like, story or like, areas or anything like that, but I mean, like, you know, a lot more, like, weapon variation, like, some variation in the environments, like, a little bit more than Dark Souls 1 had, but I don't know, like, I watched a full Let's Play of Dark Souls 2, and I just thought that, like, it didn't have as much character. Oh yeah, I know, that was the thing they did in Dark Souls 2, I do know that, like, dying repeatedly would lower your health bar, and I feel like, you know, while some people argue, like, the accessibility of that game, like, I feel like that was a pretty harsh penalty to put on, like, players who were new to the series. Like, I feel like, you know, like, there should certainly be harsh penalties for dying in games. But in a game where you're expected to die that much, and especially as a new player, like you're gonna die so much more than a player that's actually experienced with the series. Like that's pretty harsh punishment for someone who's experienced. Like it's an interesting and new challenge, but I don't know. And I just think that it was directed by somebody different than Dark Souls 1, and I think that while they tried to do a lot of different stuff, not all of it was really good. But man, Bloodborne, I mean that's an example of doing it right. And I know I see the autofocus is freaking out there. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that so much. I didn't realize I'm biting off a lot more than I wanted with this sketch, because this is a super complex character. Honestly, this is not the greatest sketch in the world, but meh. I'm not trying super hard. When I do warm ups, it's different from when I do cooldown. Cooldown is just trying to get it out of my system and just wind down and not try super hard. Warm ups I try a little bit harder. Yeah, I've been in a constant loop of researching a way to lock the focus, and there are apps that I can use on the iPad to lock the focus, but it's actually causes a lot of weird issues with the periscope app. So I'm still trying to figure out a good way to do that. And honestly, it's probably just going to have to wait for a setting on the app, which they really should include, because I think a lot of certainly a lot of people stream drawing on here, and that's a really useful tool to lock the focus when you're drawing, because you don't want the thing to be autofocusing on your hand or your pen, which is what I think it's trying to do. So yeah, I know it's annoying, guys, and I'm trying to fix it, but I don't know that there's a whole lot I can do. Oh, that's spider booty. Spider booty. It's not the. I mean, I think it's mostly the eyes that are bothering me. I did the eyes pretty wonky. Swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that abdomen. You see the spinnerets on her? Damn. I always liked Quaylana a lot, because she's totally the opposite of Quaylog. Quaylog just walks down the stairs, alright, it's murder in time, and then Quaylana I mean, she's totally delusional, and I don't want to spoil too much in the game, but I always just really liked her aesthetic, and she's pasty white and just really cool. You feel totally bad for her, at least I did in the game. Pardon me. No, I haven't seen it. What's going on the list, though? Yeah, and it's like I don't like to spend much more time than that on like a cooldown. The cooldown's not like when you're doing a warm up, you want to like actually try to like draw semi well because like you're warming up to draw semi well. And when I'm doing a cooldown, I don't try to like really try too hard because like I could totally like spend a lot of time like in all these details and making this a really like amazing drawing that I'm super proud of, but I'm not gonna spend as much time as I normally do. But thank you for saying that it still looks great. I'm not trying to say the drawing is bad or that I don't like it. I am one of those people. If I do really quick drawings, I still see like, oh, I wish I would have spent more time here. Like I would really like to develop this more, and like it's totally like fighting that instinct to like spend a lot of time in one area, and like even like doing this mouth, like, excuse me, I'm sorry, that was really gross. Yeah, I think I've been ever since I actually played Dark Souls. And thank you, by the way. Ever since I played Dark Souls, I think I've been wanting to draw character fan art of Quelaag and or Quaylana, just because I love their designs so much. And I'm actually like, this is kind of like a spoiler alert, but since you guys are on stream and I'll kind of like drop a little hint. So I'm actually doing a tribute to her, kind of like a tribute to her in my comic book that I'm working on. Or at least I have plans to do a character that's based off of her design. Basically with a humanoid body, or a mostly intact body, torso, and a spider-like, arachnid-esque like body that they're attached to. And I'm not trying to pass off of like stealing design or anything. Like I'm gonna make every intention that it is like a tribute because I love the design so much. And yeah, if you guys are interested in like learning more about my comic projects and stuff like that, I talk about those on Patreon most of the time. I don't really talk about them on my other social media sites simply because like they're not super developed yet, and I still have a lot of time and effort to put into them before they're finished products. But I use my Patreon as kind of sort of like an exclusive. What I meant was an exclusive like development log, I guess, for those. So yeah, if you're interested, check out my Patreon. I mean, even for just $1 a month, you get access to all of the like news posts and stuff. Not all of the like exclusive content, like all the digital stuff. Like some of the digital stuff is for slightly higher tiers. But if you want to like, sorry, yeah, I'll write out a link. Because if I try to do the chat right now, it's gonna sound like me pounding on the screen, and I don't want that. I'll look up my Patreon right now, and but yeah, if you want to do like $5 even for 1 month, like you can go and grab the vast majority of like all the digital content, like all my art books on there are on there that you can download if you pledge for $5 or more, as well as like you can get postcards and stuff for pledging higher amounts. But I just say like take a look at it because there's a whole bunch of like stuff on there for free too. I try to put something up for everybody, so you don't go to the site and see like oh, they're all patron posts. Like, well, then you don't really know like what you're getting. And I don't really want that. So yeah, I'll write out the link really quick for you guys. It's basically just super simple. Patreon.com/mjaraki to find me, and you can go. Like I said, almost all of my accounts across everything are under either Merrick Jaraki or M Jaraki. So yeah, patreon.com/mjaraki. M. Jiraki, and you can see all that stuff that I was mentioning up there. Yeah, and check stuff out. I mean, pretty soon I'm going to start working on a little like 10-page comic that's associated with the story. That will be a free download for all of my patrons, and that's going to be a patron only thing. But you will also be able to see like my development process in making that comic, the like thumbnails, the storyboarding, sketches, all that kind of stuff that I wouldn't normally show elsewhere. And I will also do some of that stuff on stream too. So stream is kind of exempt from some of the Patreon stuff, but if you wanted like all the high resolution downloads and all the text posts and stuff like that, that's all on Patreon. So yeah, I hope you guys had a fun time watching me draw tonight and like talking, and I hope I got to answer as many of your questions as possible. And I always say that if I miss anything, don't hesitate to like hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or anything like that. And like I said, those accounts are all under my name. So, and yeah, thanks. If it's really late, like get some rest. Like I'm really happy that you're staying up to hang out with me. I don't know if you're just staying up to hang out with me, but yeah, get some rest if you need it. And I'll talk to you next time. I'll probably be on tomorrow night for a little bit just to do like a warm-up or something. But yeah, have a great night. Thanks for coming by, and I'll see you next time.